Hi, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jack, and this is our show about learning English.
Hi, everyone. I'm Elena. I'm so glad to be here.
So, we're talking about making a good English study plan for this year.
That's right. And, we know you want to speak English better.
Yeah, and we want to help you do that.
We do.
So, let's start with the most important things for learning anything new.
Okay, so the most important things are passion, resilience, and consistency.
Okay, those are kind of big words.
They are, but they're really important.
Can you explain them a little?
Yeah, so passion means you really want to learn English. Like you really enjoy it.
Like if I really want to eat pizza, I have a passion for pizza.
Exactly, you got it.
Okay.
And resilience means you don't give up even when it's hard.
Okay, so even if I make mistakes, I keep practicing.
Exactly. You learn from those mistakes and you try again.
Okay.
And then consistency means you practice regularly a little bit. Every day is better than a lot once a month.
Like brushing my teeth.
Exactly, like brushing your teeth. So those three things are important for everyone, but especially for beginners.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about speaking practice now.
Okay.
It can be hard to find people to talk to, especially when you're a beginner.
It can be. I know a lot of people get nervous talking to native speakers.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but there are tools to help with that.
Okay, like what?
Well, one option is AI-powered apps.
Okay.
These apps can listen to you speak and give you feedback on your pronunciation.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. What are some of those apps?
Well, two popular ones are Elsa Speak and Small Talk to Me.
Okay.
And they can help you improve your pronunciation, your grammar. They also analyze your vocabulary.
Oh, wow. So they can tell me if I'm using the right words?
They can, and they can tell you if your vocabulary level is right for you.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
It is.
I bet those cost money though, right?
Yeah, most of them do require a subscription, but they usually have free trials.
Oh, okay, that's good.
So you can try them out before you pay.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Are there any other ways to practice speaking though, like talking to real people?
Of course, there are websites that can connect you with real English teachers for online lessons.
Oh, okay, cool. Which websites are good for that?
Well, three popular ones are Preply, Italki, and Cambly.
Okay, I've heard of those, I think.
Yeah, and they each have pros and cons.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit more about them?
Sure, so let's start with Preply.
Okay.
Preply has a lot of teachers, over 50,000.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is, and because there are so many teachers, the prices are different.
Okay, so I could find a cheap teacher on Preply.
You can, but, sometimes you get what you pay for.
Right.
It's important to check the teacher's qualifications and make sure they're a good fit for you.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
What about italki?
So Italki is different because they offer group classes.
Oh,
So if you feel nervous talking one-on-one, a group class might be a good option.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and you can also learn from the other students in the class. Italki also has a community forum where you can chat with other English learners.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like the idea of having friends who are learning English too.
Yeah, it's a good way to practice and get support.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So what about the last one, Cambly?
So Cambly is a bit more expensive,
Okay.
but they focus on native English-speaking teachers.
Okay.
So if you want to improve your accent, Cambly might be a good choice.
Right. I see. So there are lots of ways to practice speaking English.
Yeah, there are. And you can choose the option that best fits your learning style and your budget.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Okay, so we talked about speaking practice. Now let's talk about vocabulary.
Okay.
Learning new words can be hard.
It can be. I know a lot of people forget new words easily,
Yeah, me too.
but there are apps that can help with that.
Really? Apps for vocabulary?
Yeah.
That's cool. Tell me more.
So three good apps are Duolingo, Quizlet, and Woodpecker Learning.
Okay, I've heard of Duolingo.
Yeah.
It's like a game, right?
Yep. Yeah, it is. It uses games to make learning fun. You earn points, and you level up as you learn new words.
That sounds kind of fun, actually.
It is fun.
What about Quizlet?
So Quizlet is all about flashcards.
Okay.
You can make your own flashcards, or you can use flashcards made by other users.
Oh, okay. I use flashcards in school.
Yeah, they can be really helpful.
Yeah.
And Quizlet has different ways to study the flashcards, like matching games and quizzes.
That's cool. So it's not just looking at the cards.
Right, exactly.
What about Woodpecker Learning?
So Woodpecker Learning uses videos to teach you new words.
Oh, okay.
You watch videos and you learn new words from the context.
I like watching videos.
Yeah, and you can choose videos that you enjoy, like cooking shows or travel documentaries.
Oh, cool. So I can learn English while watching videos about things I like.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All these apps sound great, but how do I know which words to learn?
That's a great question. So the best words to learn are the words you see and hear in real life. So when you read a book or watch a movie or listen to music, write down the words you don't know.
So I should like make my own vocabulary list.
Exactly. And then you can use those apps that we talked about to study your personalized list.
That makes a lot of sense.
Oh.
It's better to learn words that I'll actually use.
Exactly.
Okay, and don't forget about dictionaries.
Oh, yeah. Dictionaries are a great resource.
I know dictionaries, but which ones are good for English learners?
Well, 3 good dictionaries are the Cambridge Dictionary, the Collins Dictionary, and the Oxford Collocations Dictionary.
Wow, that's a lot of dictionaries.
It is, but they're all really good.
What's special about each one?
Well, the Cambridge Dictionary is very comprehensive.
Okay.
It has definitions, example sentences, and it even has a tool that shows you words that are related to each other.
Oh, well, that's helpful.
What about the Collins Dictionary?
Yeah, what about that one?
The Collins Dictionary is great for learning about collocations.
Collocations, what are those?
So collocations are words that often go together.
Okay.
For example, heavy rain is a collocation.
I see. So it's not just about knowing the meaning of the individual words, but also how to use them together.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the Oxford Collocations Dictionary is the best dictionary for finding these word pairs.
Okay, cool. I'm starting to understand how important vocabulary is, but what about grammar? Grammar's kind of scary.
I know it can feel intimidating, but grammar is just the rules of the language.
Okay.
And once you understand the rules, you can speak and write more correctly.
Right, but there are so many grammar rules.
There are, but there are resources that can help you learn grammar in a simple and fun way.
Really, what resources?
Well, 2 good websites are Perfect English Grammar and Grammar Revolution.
Okay, what's good about those websites?
So, Perfect English Grammar has clear explanations and lots of practice exercises.
So I can learn the rules and then I can practice them.
Exactly. That's the best way to learn.
Cool. What about Grammar Revolution?
So, Grammar Revolution uses colors and diagrams to make grammar easier to understand.
Oh, I like visuals.
Yeah.
Sounds helpful. Okay, so we've talked about speaking, we've talked about vocabulary, we've talked about grammar. Are there any other resources that can help me learn English?
Yes, there are, but it's important to find materials that are right for your level.
Right. I don't want to use materials that are too difficult.
Exactly. And one of the best resources for beginners is the BBC Learning English website.
The BDC, like the news channel.
Yes, the same BBC.
Wow.
They have free courses for English learners of all levels.
Wow, and it's free.
Yes, completely free.
That's awesome.
The courses have videos, audio transcripts, and explanations of vocabulary and grammar.
So it's like having a whole English class online.
Yeah, you could say that.
That's really cool.
Hmm.
I'll have to check that out. Are there any other resources that you recommend?
Yeah, another great resource is Culips.
Culips?
Yeah,
What is that?
they make podcasts for English learners.
Oh, I like podcasts.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And Culips has different podcasts for different levels and goals.
Cool.
They have podcasts about idioms, everyday conversations, and even podcasts with simplified speech.
That's cool. So I can find a podcast that fits my needs.
Exactly. And most of their podcasts come with transcripts so you can read along as you listen.
Oh, that's helpful.
Yeah.
Are there any other resources you wanted to tell us about?
Yeah, one more that I really like is LinkU.
LinkU.
Yeah.
Okay, what is that?
It's a platform that uses video and audio to teach English.
Oh, okay. So kind of like woodpecker learning.
Kind of,
Mhm.
but LinkU is more structured.
Okay.
It has lessons and activities to help you learn.
Okay, that sounds cool. How does it work?
So they give you a lot of different materials to read and listen to, like news articles and short stories.
Okay, and are they all in English?
They are, but you can choose your level.
Oh, okay.
And as you read or listen, you can click on words you don't know to see their definitions.
So it's like having a dictionary built into the platform.
Right.
That's really cool.
And LinkU keeps track of your progress so you can see how many words you've learned.
That's motivating. I like seeing how much I've learned.
Me too. It's a good way to stay on track.
So we've talked about a lot of different resources, but how do I make a study plan that works for me?
That's a great question. You know, it's one thing to have all these resources, but you need to know how to use them effectively.
Yeah, I need a plan.
You do. And that's what we're going to talk about in the next part of the show.
Okay, I'm excited to learn more. Welcome back, everyone.
It's great to be back.
So in the first part of our show, we talked about some important things for learning English, like passion resilience and consistency.
Right. And we talked about some websites and apps that can help you practice speaking, vocabulary, and grammar.
Yeah, so now I think we should talk about some specific skills you need to learn English.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
So let's start with listening comprehension.
Okay, so listening comprehension basically means understanding what you hear in English.
Right, so it's important to be able to understand people when they speak to you.
Exactly. And it's also important to be able to understand things like movies and TV shows and music.
Right.
but listening to English can be hard.
Yeah, it can be, especially if people are speaking really fast or using a lot of slang.
Right. I know. I get lost sometimes too.
Yeah.
But the good news is that there are things you can do to improve your listening comprehension.
Okay, cool. Like what?
Well, we already talked about podcasts.
Right.
Podcasts are a great way to practice listening to English.
Okay.
You can choose podcasts about topics that you're interested in,
Right.
and you can listen to them anytime, anywhere.
Yeah, I like to listen to podcasts on my way to work.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Another good tip is to listen actively.
Okay, what does that mean?
So active listening means paying attention to what you're hearing and trying to understand every word.
Okay, so it's not enough just to kind of have it on in the background.
Right. You need to really focus on what's being said.
Okay.
When you're listening actively, you should try to identify the main ideas
Okay.
and try to pick out any new words or phrases that you hear.
Okay.
You can even take notes if that helps you.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Another good tip is to watch English movies and TV shows with subtitles.
Okay.
The subtitles can help you understand what's being said, even if you don't catch every word.
Right.
And you can always pause the movie or the show if you need to look up a word.
Okay, but I always feel like I'm cheating when I use subtitles.
Don't feel that way.
Yeah.
Subtitles are a great tool for learning English.
Okay.
They can help you learn new words, and they can definitely help you improve your listening comprehension.
Okay. I'll keep using them.
Good.
So, let's talk about speaking now.
Okay.
Speaking is often the hardest skill for English learners, I think.
Yeah, it can be really scary to speak in another language.
Yeah, I get nervous when I have to speak English.
I think that's totally normal. Everybody feels nervous when they're learning something new.
Right.
But the more you practice, the easier it will get.
I hope so.
It will, I promise.
Do you have any tips for practicing speaking?
Of course. So we already talked about some ways to find speaking partners.
Right, like the apps and the websites.
Right. You can use apps like Elsa Speak and Small Talk to Me, or you can find a teacher on websites like Preply Italki or Cambly.
Right.
But even if you don't have a speaking partner, there are things you can do to practice on your own.
Okay, like what?
Well, one thing you can do is talk to yourself in English.
Talk to myself.
Yeah, I know it sounds a little silly,
Yeah.
but it really helps. You can talk about your day, you can talk about your plans, or anything else that's on your mind.
Okay.
Just get those words out of your mouth.
Okay, I can try that.
Yeah. And another good tip is to record yourself speaking.
Record myself.
Yeah. This way you can listen back to yourself and identify areas where you need to improve.
Okay.
You might be surprised at how much you've improved over time.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I've never thought of that before.
Yeah, give it a try. It's a really helpful way to improve your speaking skills.
Okay, I will.
And remember, don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Right.
Everyone makes mistakes when they're learning English.
Yeah.
The important thing is to learn from your mistakes and keep practicing.
Okay, but how do I know if I'm making mistakes?
That's a good question. One way to get feedback on your speaking is to find a language partner.
Okay.
A language partner can be a native English speaker, or it can be another English learner.
Okay.
You can exchange emails or messages, and you can help each other improve your speaking.
That's a good idea. I should try to find a language partner.
Yeah, you should. And you can also ask a teacher or a tutor to look over your writing or to listen to you speak, and they can give you feedback on your grammar, your vocabulary, and your pronunciation.
Yeah. Okay, I can do that.
Yeah, and remember, there are lots of resources available online that can help you with your speaking.
Okay.
There are websites, there are pronunciation checkers, and there are even apps that can help you improve your speaking skills.
That's great to know. I'll definitely check those out.
Good, so now let's move on to reading.
Okay.
Reading is another important skill for learning English.
Okay.
It can help you learn new words, it can help you improve your grammar, and it can help you expand your knowledge of the world.
Right, but finding things to read in English can be hard.
It can be, especially if you're a beginner.
Right.
But I have some recommendations.
Okay.
So one good place to start is with graded readers.
Graded readers, what are those?
So graded readers are books that are written specifically for English learners.
Okay.
They use simpler language and grammar than regular books,
Okay.
so they're easier to understand.
Okay. That sounds helpful. Where can I find graded readers?
You can find graded readers online or at your local library.
Okay.
There are lots of different publishers of graded readers, so you should be able to find books that are perfect for your level.
Okay, cool. I'll look for some.
And another good option is to read children's books.
Yeoman's books.
Yeah, children's books use simple language, and they often have pictures,
Right.
so they can be a good way to start reading in English.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I love children's books.
Me too. They can be enjoyable for adults too.
Yeah.
And once you're feeling more confident, you can start reading things like articles, websites, and blogs.
Oh.
There's so much to read in English.
It's amazing how much information is out there.
It really is.
Yeah.
But remember, it's important to choose materials that are interesting to you.
Right.
If you're not interested in what you're reading, you're less likely to learn anything from it.
That's true. I'll make sure to choose things that I enjoy.
Good, and don't be afraid to look up words that you don't know.
Right.
It's totally normal to not understand every word when you're reading in English.
Yeah.
The important thing is to keep reading and to keep learning.
Okay, I'll try my best.
So now let's talk about writing.
Okay.
Writing is another important skill for learning English.
Right.
It can help you communicate your ideas clearly and effectively.
Right. But writing in English can be challenging.
It can be, especially if you're not used to the grammar and vocabulary.
Yeah, I know. I struggle with writing.
Well, that's a common challenge for English learners.
Okay.
But there are things you can do to improve your writing skills.
Like what?
Well, one important tip is to start small. Don't try to write a novel right away.
Right.
Instead, focus on writing short paragraphs or even just sentences.
Okay, that sounds more manageable.
Yeah, and remember, it's okay to make mistakes.
Right.
Everyone makes mistakes when they're writing.
Yeah.
The important thing is to learn from your mistakes and keep practicing.
Okay, but how do I know if I'm making mistakes?
That's a good question. One way to get feedback on your writing is to find a language partner.
Okay.
A language partner can be a native English speaker or it can be another English learner.
Right.
And you can exchange writing with each other, like emails or messages.
Okay.
And you can help each other improve.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, you can also ask a teacher or a tutor to look over your writing and give you feedback on your grammar, your vocabulary, and your style.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, and remember, there are lots of resources available online that can help you with your writing.
Okay.
There are websites, there are grammar checkers, and there are even apps that can help you improve your writing skills.
That's great. I'll definitely check those out.
Good, so we've talked about listening, speaking, reading, and writing.
Right, those are like the main things.
Yeah, those are the 4 main skills that you need to learn English.
Right.
And we've talked about some tips and resources that can help you improve each of those skills.
Yeah, and I think we've given people a lot to think about.
We have.
So, I guess we should wrap up.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Welcome back to the last part of our show.
It's great to be back.
So we've talked about a lot of important things today, about making a study plan, and about some great resources for learning English, like websites and apps.
Podcasts, too, and even books.
Right, and we talked about the 4 main skills you need to learn English: listening, speaking, reading, and writing.
Right.
So now I think we should give you some final advice to help you succeed.
Okay, sounds good. I'm ready.
So first, remember that learning English takes time.
Yeah, that's really important. Don't get discouraged if you don't see results right away.
Yeah, you just have to keep practicing and you will improve it.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like growing a plant. You know, you have to water it and give it sunlight,
Right.
but you can't expect it to bloom overnight.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
So second, don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah, everyone makes mistakes when they're learning English. It's totally normal.
It's part of the process.
Exactly.
So the important thing is to learn from your mistakes and keep trying.
Right.
You know, I need to stop being so afraid of making a mistake.
I think a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah.
But really, mistakes are your friends. They help you learn.
Okay, and third, find a way to make learning English fun.
Yeah, that's important. If you're not enjoying yourself, you're less likely to stick with it.
Right.
So find activities that you enjoy, like watching movies,
Oh, yeah.
and make those part of your study plan.
I do love watching movies.
Yeah?
Maybe if you just watch more English movies.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
You can also listen to English music, read English books, or even play English video games.
Oh, yeah.
There are so many fun ways to learn English.
That's true. I'm starting to get excited about learning English again.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
And then finally, remember that you're not alone.
That's a good point.
There are millions of people around the world learning English.
Yeah, that's true.
And there are so many resources available to help you, so don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it.
I think that's really important because sometimes I feel like I'm the only one struggling.
Well, you're definitely not the only one. Everyone struggles sometimes.
Yeah.
The important thing is to just keep going and never give up.
You're right. I can do this.
I know you can.
Okay. We believe in you.
So that's all the time we have for today.
Oh.
But we hope you enjoyed the show and that you learned some useful tips for learning English.
We did cover a lot.
We did. We really did.
Yeah, so we wish you all the best on your English learning journey.
Yes, remember to be patient, have fun, and never give up.
Exactly.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.